So I'm super excited to have Melissa Brewer today speaking to our team as our guest speaker. He is going to be talking to us about building for income, and this is kind of perfect timing because Melissa just quit her job on Friday, like her teaching job, and so that's a huge milestone for her, and she gets to be home with her kids, and she's doing awesome with her Beachbody business. She is 5-star qualifying right now. And she's just an awesome coach. So tell us, I'm going to turn the time over to you, Melissa, but maybe introduce yourself a little more. Tell us when you started, and then I'll just let you take it away.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Kel. And I do want to just also say, if you have questions, put them in the chat so that we have them written down, and then I can try and answer them, because there are going to be a lot of questions about this stuff, because it's kind of just it's really personalized to everyone's individual business. And so, sorry, am I echoing or no? It echoed for a second. Anyway, I want to make sure that I answer any questions if you guys have them. I'm definitely not like I don't know everything there is to know about this topic, but I have really focused on this since I started, because my ultimate goal is to be able to be home with my kids. And so I can kind of just share with you what I've done and how it's worked for me. And just know that there are, different ways to run your business. There's no right or wrong way. You can do it any way you want. This is just how I've done mine and how it's worked for me. So if income is one of your goals, if financially you're wanting to really contribute to your family, this is the best way to do it. So to kind of just introduce you to myself, my name is Melissa Brewer. I've been coaching since, it feels like forever ago now, but December of 2013, which I say 2013 and it feels like that's ancient. Like, that's crazy. But so almost 3 years, 2.5 years. And I was teaching when I first became a coach. I taught at a high school in Bountiful, Utah, and I coached the volleyball team. My life felt like it could not possibly get any busier. We had, at the time, so when I was teaching and coaching, I also had just had a baby, and she was born in August. And so my baby was about 4 months old and was not sleeping through the night. She was a better sleeper than my first baby, but you know how babies are. There's just a lot of work. So it was not like the easiest time of my life to sign up for something like this. But we were in a place where we were living paycheck to paycheck. It was so stressful. And I remember it was December, and we were thinking about our taxes, and we had been talking with our accountant, and we didn't have the money. We had to dig out of our savings the money to pay our taxes and our tithing and all that good stuff for the end of the year. And I remember I was stressed out one day at lunch, didn't even go down to my friend's classroom, which I usually always would go down there, and I was just got on Facebook because I just needed to get away from the world, my world. And I saw Micah's post, and I had seen her post before, and I was like, this is going to be the answer to my prayers. And I just said, I'm going to have to make this work, and I'm going to just do everything I can to make this work. If Micah's making this work, I can make this work. And so I did that, and I freaking worked hard for my first year. I would stay up until midnight every night watching videos, doing trainings, listening to Mindy Wender, messaging people, doing everything I could. And then during the day, every second I was not busy. When my kids would leave the classroom for 5 minutes, I'd go and message people. When I went to the bathroom, I'd message people. Anytime I was not with my kids, basically, I was working nonstop. And that probably sounds a little overwhelming, but that's just what I needed to do to get to a place where we could survive. So 2.5 years later, I wouldn't say I was the fastest growing in the rank sense. And that was because my focus was on building for income. And that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. I just want to talk about a few things though. There are so many things you need to do before you focus on volume and building for your income and for money only. One of those things is you got to be hitting Success Club every single month. Like that's a non-negotiable. Micah talks about it. Kelly talks about it. All of the leaders talk about it. That's because there's residual income that comes from helping other people. And so you've got to be hitting Success Club. And then you really need to understand the compensation plan. So know about the retail commissions, which I'm sure you guys all know, and then also about team cycle bonuses. So when you're an Emerald coach, you earn $14 a cycle. When you're a Ruby coach, you earn $16 a cycle. And when you're a Diamond coach, you earn $18 a cycle. And that's the max amount that you can earn per cycle. So what does that mean? Of course, you know, you want to be a Diamond coach before you focus on anything else. Diamond is kind of the beginning of where, you know, everything starts to grow, and you've got to get to Diamond first before you can focus on the other things, the volume and, you know, placing coaches in certain areas and all that fun stuff. So before all else, hit Success Club and become a Diamond and become a really solid Diamond. So you don't want to just become a Diamond and then like have to be stressing about coaches going inactive or your discounters quitting or whatever it is. Be a solid Diamond. Have a bunch of cushion and just make sure that you're not having to stress about keeping your team cycle bonuses at $18 per cycle. When you think about that, you know, Emerald compared to Diamond, $14 per cycle compared to $18 per cycle is a pretty big difference when you're thinking about how many times you're cycling through those. So Diamond is where it's at. And actually 2 stars where it's at because you want to have that cushion. Okay, so like I said before, there's really no right or wrong way to build your business. There's the 2 different ways you can build for rank, or you can build for volume. And I just want to say, like, think about what motivates you most. If you are motivated by rewards and goals and incentives and recognition and things like that, then you probably want to build for rank. They kind of go hand in hand, obviously, because to earn the $18 per cycle bonus, you have to be a Diamond. So yes, they definitely go hand in hand. And there are other incentives that Beachbody gives its coaches for hitting 2-star and 5-star and 10-star and 15-star. And if you don't know what those are, we can talk about that too. But just know that you got to kind of think about what drives you. If income is not your goal, then you're not going to want to build this way. If you're more driven by being recognized and hearing your name shouted out on the national wake-up call and having your coach shout you out for hitting different milestones in your business, that's really awesome. And you can still grow a great substantial income from going for rank. But the way that I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is really focusing on your volume. So do you care, Kelly, if I share my screen?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I think I can just do it, but I wanted to make sure that was all right.
Yeah.
So before I do that, just know if your volume looks nothing like mine, that's okay, because I've been coaching for 2.5 years. Some of you, maybe this is your first week. Others of you, maybe this is your first year. Everyone's business looks different. So I'm going to share with you guys my volume and kind of talk to you about how you can build for income using your volume to guide you, okay? All right, so this is the beginning of, am I echoing for you?
No.
All right, I'm going to turn my volume down because I think I'm just hearing myself.
Is she echoing for you, Veronica?
Just a little. Yeah, I can kind of hear it. It's like at the end. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. If it gets bad, just someone message me. Okay, so this is when I very first started out. So you can see I signed up, it looks like, yeah, I think I signed up like December 3rd or something. Anyway.
Is this your volume right now? Or are we looking at your volume?
This is my volume, yeah. So what I did was I went to my business, my volume, and clicked on my volume, okay? I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit. But so we'll come into about maybe like my year mark, okay? So that's gonna be right around here. Whoa. Do you guys see it when I highlight?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so do you have a question?
No.
Oh, I thought someone said something. Okay. All right. So you can see when I first started, or even at my 1 year mark, my strong leg, which everyone knows about strong and weak legs, I'm guessing, but just to kind of recap it really quick, your strong leg is typically the leg that your upline is also adding coaches to. Your weak leg is typically your inside leg that no one except for people on your team are adding to, okay? So when I first became a coach, my strong leg was my left leg and my weak leg was my right leg. And at my year mark, you can see I had about 4,000 volume points on my strong leg this is that the big volume week when it's the end of the year or the end of the month and everyone's pushing to hit Success Club. So that's why it's so high on this week. And then on my other, so I was about 2 to 1, right? So, and that's good. You want to build 2 to 1 is great. I've also heard that it's really good to build 1 to 1. So having both legs equal. When you're 2 to 1, it will cycle every 200 out of the strong leg to every 100 points out of your weak leg. I'm pretty sure that's correct. And then when you're 1 to 1, it's 150 and 150. Okay, so that's kind of how the team cycles work. So however many times they can subtract those numbers, depending on if you're 2 to 1 or 1 to 1, is how many times you're going to cycle through on your cycle bonuses. I hope that's not like super confusing. I'm trying to not get too into the weeds with this, but just trying to give you an idea of what this looks like. At this time, I had a few business builders. I was a diamond coach, and I don't believe I had any other diamond coaches, maybe one. I can't really remember, but I know that at this point, I was just kind of like riding the wave. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the business. I mean, I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to make it happen for us. I didn't understand everything about the business. I didn't understand everything about volume and growing for volume and for income. And at my year mark, I remember I had a conversation with Micah, who is my upline coach. And I talked with her and I just said, you know what, if I'm going to keep doing this, I have to make a significant income enough that I could quit my job. Okay. And at this point, I also had just changed jobs. So I got a better paying job at an education technology company. It was called Mastery Connect. It still exists. That's the job I recently resigned from. And I needed to replace that income because now that was kind of, that was what I needed to meet. That was something that, well, this is a great job and this is bringing us more money. So if I'm going to quit this job that I love, I need to meet that income. So I talked with her and we talked about what I'm going to teach you tonight. So in order to grow your volume, the biggest thing that you need to do is duplicate what you're doing on your team with your coaches. So what does that mean exactly? Duplicating means, and I know Kelly talks about this all the time because I think I heard her talk about it just recently to my team the other night. She was talking about it, making your business duplicatable and easy for your coaches to follow. So basically what that means is giving your coaches the resources they need to be successful, making a Google Drive, or giving them videos, or giving them scripts, or things that they can use. Because when your coaches are first starting out, sometimes they don't really know the messages they want to or should be giving on social media. They don't really know how to talk to people. They don't know how to talk about challenge groups because they're maybe in their first one. So making those messages, those your posts, anything on social media or anything with your team, making it really easy to duplicate. So, and the reason why you want to do that is because you want to help your coaches do what you're doing. And not only because it's going to help build your volume, but because at least that's my mission and my vision for my business is I want to be home with my family. And a lot of my coaches have that dream too. Because you kind of attract who you are, right? As a coach, you attract the same types of people as you. And so I want that for my coaches. I want them to be able to live financially free. I want them to be able to spend time with their families, not have to worry about finances, live in their dream home, make memories with their children and with their families. And, because that's my vision, that's my dream. And I know what that means to me. And so when I hear someone tell me that, I feel that in my heart, and that's what I want for them. So not only is it going to help them do the same thing that you're doing, you're also going to help yourself get to that point. So when you do that, when you help your coaches grow their team, that builds volume under your larger team. So you're going to help your coaches, you're going to help all their coaches, and it's just going to continue to give and give and give. Maybe I haven't looked to see if there are any questions. And I don't know if I can. Have any questions come up?
It's tricky because it's like minimized, so I can't even
Here,
see.
let me stop sharing so we can look. Okay. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So far, does anyone have questions about anything before I kind of go more into this? Because this is kind of the, I guess, taking off point. You're good?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you right when you started, did you start strategically placing people or anything? Or at what point did you start kind of doing that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So no, I did not begin strategically placing anyone probably until I had that conversation with Micah, because at that point I knew I needed to start building my husband's business. He was an emerald, that was it. And then I think I had another emerald on my right, maybe a ruby. And so I didn't have a lot of business builders under me. I can't really remember everything about it because it feels like forever ago, but so at that point, that was when I started to look at my husband's business, and his volume was very off because I really hadn't built his weak leg at all. And so at that point, anytime I needed to add a coach on my strong leg, which my husband was on my strong leg because I didn't know or understand that concept when I signed him up. A lot of people put him on, or put their spouse or their partner on their weak leg so that they can build up the volume on that leg. I didn't really know that. I'm sure she told me, but I didn't know what I was doing, right? I just signed him up. I wanted to get to emerald as soon as possible. So my husband ended up on my strong leg, which is now my weak leg. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But after that point, and I knew I wanted to start building his income, I started placing anyone that I needed to put on the same leg as him under his weak leg. And so now I'm building his weak leg and I'm building my weak leg. Does that make sense?
I think you need to draw a picture.
Okay. I can draw a picture.
In like graphical genealogy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm such a visual person, and I'm sure other people.
No, totally. Okay, let me get there here. Let me share my screen. Stephanie, no wait, okay, and before I go and show you, actually liked having Jeff on my strong leg when I wasn't building him because he was getting a lot of volume that I didn't have to produce myself. Now, though, that my legs have switched, I actually really like having him on my weak leg because I can build him and build my weak leg, and it all has worked out. So it just works either way. I don't think you can go wrong either way. So if your husband's on your strong, great. If your husband's on your weak, great. Like, they're both awesome.
Okay, good.
Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, I haven't even gone to it yet, but I'll go to my downline really quick. And this is going to look a little bit crazy because I've got, okay. Well, do I want my graphical maybe?
Yeah, do graphical.
Okay. All right, so next week that's going to say 5. Just kidding. All right, you can see there's Jeff. That's my husband. And I didn't put anyone under him for so long. So I put my mom. She's currently inactive, but I still keep her signed up in case I need a little saving grace. But I put her on his weak leg. And then I can't remember who this is, but I signed up someone else. So you can see this is his strong leg. And these were either Micah's or whoever's coaches that were building, I don't even know who. Okay. So when I wanted to start building for income, I had just been like flip-flopping back and forth depending on who I needed where to get to diamond. Once I got to diamond, Jeff was an emerald, and then whoever else was an emerald over here. And you guys can see I signed up Jeff and then a friend of mine who has now quit since, and those were my 2 coaches that got me to emerald. And then I signed up my dad when he quit so that I could stay emerald. So you just do whatever you got to do. I'm serious.
It's true.
And it pays off. Like, it just builds momentum. So if you're not emerald yet, you need to be emeralds because it's so worth it. People see that you're growing your business and then they want to jump on board.
And Melissa, don't you think it helps with income to also build your husband to emerald? Because then you're getting double dipping on the team bonus cycles.
100%. When you have yourself and your spouse or partner sign up, you get to work and build 2 businesses. Like, that is awesome because you're going to get the team cycle bonuses for both yourself and your husband. I don't know any other company that allows for you to do that really without the person actually working it. Like, we kind of are lucky and we get away with it. And my goal is even to, when I really get solid and comfortable, I want to do the same thing for my parents. And so that they have money coming into them without having to do anything. They gave a lot to me growing up. You know, they sacrificed a lot. I spent a lot of money raising me, and this is going to be my way to give back. So they don't know it yet, but that's my dream. Anyway, and my mom works full time. So that's why I want to bring her home from her job too. Okay. So where was I? Okay. So when I started building myself, Jeff became my weak leg, and I needed to build more volume on his leg so that it would equal out and I would cycle more often, more times being 1-to-1. So I started to place coaches underneath Jeff. So you can see this person was a personally sponsored coach. They've since quit. But I was placing them under his weak leg. All right. And there's Stacy. She's on the call. And so I started placing my personally sponsored coaches underneath Jeff. That is, you know, that's where I build. My second CBC is under his weak leg. I'm planning on putting my third CBC under his weak leg. That's what I'm growing. That's where I'm actively working my business. And that is because his strong leg is pretty strong and his weak leg is almost equal to it now. And I want to continue to make it equal, and I'll just place accordingly. But you want to be sure to get both legs equal in volume, which means you want to help your coaches to build their team so that they're producing volume and everything rolls up to the top. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So you guys can get kind of that visual where, and I place coaches under Stacy all the time. And I actually put them on her strong leg. So she's hopefully building her weak leg. It's awkward talking about Stacy when she's on the call.
Very, very slowly am I building.
Well, you are, and Natalie's doing awesome. Natalie's on her weak leg, and so yeah. And I think I've even put a few coaches on her weak leg because I love her. But, and I would only recommend ever doing that with someone you know who's never going to quit. Because you don't want to leave your coaches high and dry under someone who's not working the business and they're not going to get any volume. I know Stacy's never going to quit. She's a lifer. She's killing it in her business. She's awesome. And so I don't have any fear of putting coaches under her because I know she's going to continue to kill it. So no pressure. Just kidding.
Veronica has a question. Unmute yourself, Veronica, or anyone. If any of you guys have a question, just unmute yourself and kind of interrupt.
Yes.
So, I just have a quick question. When you said you place someone below your personally sponsored coaches, how do you place them below? Does that mean when you have someone that wants to sign up, you send them your personally sponsored coach's link?
No.
How do you place them?
So you come to this is what I do. I come to my graphical genealogy and I go and find the exact place I want to put them. So if I wanted to put someone under Stacy, I would just keep clicking down. I know it's not fun. I'm telling you right now, it's not fun. You just keep going and going and going.
I know. I wish they'd almost give you like a big picture version of it, you know?
I know. But yeah, I just keep going and going and going. You can see here's more of my there's my second CBC. And you can see we're just growing like crazy.
Can I say something?
Yes.
If you're in your back office and you know her number, you don't have to dig for her. You just, in that part where it says placement ID, you just put her coach number in there and then you put right or left.
I just get nervous doing that. I like to see it. But you can totally do that.
I get that.
Yeah. So
I'm just my mind like
placement is supposed to be under Stacy right here because it's red.
Yeah.
So can I ask one more question in regards to that? So say for example, I don't know, some people might have been in this situation or maybe they're going to be, but when you try to hit diamond, you put all these people below you, coaches, and then you need someone on your right leg and someone on your left leg to become emerald.
Yeah.
So say I have my husband on one of my legs and my mom on the other leg. When I sign someone up, can I place them under them like you're showing me right here and that would get me to emerald? Or would they actually personally have to get people?
They have to personally sponsor those coaches so that they rank advance. Yeah.
So why do you place people like that, like you're telling us right now, versus just going left and right on the outer leg, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. The reason why I do it is for volume. So when I know I need to grow volume on a certain leg or under on my left leg, and I also want to grow it on Jeff's weak leg at the same time. So it's not only building my weak leg, it's also building his weak leg. Does that make sense? That's when I come here and I say, okay, this is exactly where I want to place it because it's going to build Jeff's weak leg and then it's going to build my weak leg because it all rolls up.
So those people that you're placing, you're talking about they're under your husband, right?
They're under me. And I'm placing them strategically under my husband's weak leg.
So basically, Veronica, you can personally sponsor, you can have a personally sponsored coach be like, have their placement be under your husband. Not that meaning he's not personally sponsoring them. They're your personally sponsored coach, but you're adding that volume under whatever leg your husband needs volume on. It's really just a balancing act of trying to get volume on the left leg and volume on the right. So
I'm just confused, like, if you know one leg is weaker than the other, say your right leg is weak, why don't you just put it at the very bottom of your right?
Well, you can, but then, so
choosing a certain person? Like,
only because he's my husband and I want to grow his volume so that he makes more or he cycles more.
Yeah, I would say in most cases you probably won't be strategically placing people like Melissa's showing you. So if you're totally confused, just ignore this part because
no, it's okay. I was sorry.
Yeah, so the only time I ever strategically place is when I want to grow my husband's weak leg.
Okay.
For me. I'm sure other people maybe place strategically other times, but
was the girl that's on the call, I forgot her name, that you said you put under her, is she under your husband?
No, she's my personally sponsored coach. But so what happened was I had strategically placed her. So she kind of rolled up to me. So I was like really blessed. And I adopted Stacy from one of my other coaches who just never worked the business, but she ended up getting Stacy, who was a rock star. And when she quit, I was able to, take Stacy on as my personally sponsored coach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she kind of just landed there. I knew kind of that the girl wasn't going to work the business, so I thought she was going to be more of a discounter. And she ended up finding Stacy, who was a rock star. So it just kind of happened, and Stacy ended up on my husband's weak leg. But we're working on building that volume for her.
Okay.
So now she's got my second CBC under her, which I've gotten to diamond, and I'm growing, and I'm going to continue to grow. And all of my coaches there are growing, and 2 of them are so close to diamond. So it's really helping her out in the long run.
it gives her volume. So,
Yes.
So I think Veronica's wondering why you said mostly if you're strategically placing someone like this, it's mostly to help build your husband's weak leg. But with the Stacy situation, that was to kind of help Stacy out, right?
Yeah.
Or was it helping your husband's weak leg or your weak leg?
It was helping I love Stacy and I want to help her as much as possible, but really I was placing them under Jeff's weak leg so that his weak volume would grow more.
Okay.
I was going to chime in too. So like essentially Melissa's building on one side of it's basically on my strong leg. And so then what my job is to do is to even out my side so that way I can capitalize on the cycle bonuses from what Melissa's building and what I'm building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why it's important to always check your volume and see, okay, which number is less, my left leg or my right leg?
Exactly. And that's actually a good leeway because, whoa, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I can kind of show you where the flip happened because it's really important, like Stacey or like Kelly said, that you want to know what your volume is. I check my volume regularly before I add coaches to legs. I'm constantly checking to see who's active and who's inactive and who's working the business. I think about my builders, and that's how I know where I want to place my coaches next. You guys probably know Ashley Smith, and I think she's on the call as well. One of my coaches, Shay, she signed up a rock star coach who has absolutely blown this business out of the water, and she has completely tipped the scales on my volume because her team is so ginormous and they have so much volume that my volume now has completely flip-flopped. So where my husband was initially on my strong leg, he's now on my weak leg. And that switch happened probably like 6 months into her business when she started really taking off. So you can see in July of last year, my volume was very equal. It was, within 1,000 points of each other. And she was Shay was a diamond coach, and Ashley was a 1 or 2 star around this time. And so she was really just getting started, but her team was taking off and they were growing like crazy. And then you can see it kind of stayed the same through September. And then as soon as the new year hit is when she really started taking off. So like about the end of January, her team just blew up, and my strong and weak leg have kind of flip-flopped back and forth, but mostly now my strong leg is my right leg. So, okay, what that means is now I have to be really strategic about when I'm signing people up on my left leg or my right leg. I want to now grow my left leg, but I also have to be aware of where my business builders are. So this can get really hairy. I don't know how deep you want me to go, Kel.
Well, I know before we keep going, Megan had some questions.
Okay.
Let
Let me stop sharing and then.
Maybe unmute yourself just to have her clarify things for you a little.
Okay, so they've ordered and you go in and change it within 3 days. Okay, I need Megan to chat with me. What is your question?
I sent 2 separate messages. You're only seeing one.
Okay.
When exactly are you strategically placing?
So right now, today, I'm building my left leg because my left leg is about 10,000 volume points behind my right. So I'm building my left leg right now because I want to get some business builders on that, and I want to grow my husband's business, my second CBC, because the volume in your second CBC rolls up to your first, and the volume, so it affects everything that is above it, right? And it goes all the way up to your first business center. And then I also wanted to grow my husband's because he's on my weak leg now. And so not only am I going to capitalize on growing my weak leg, I'm going to capitalize on growing my husband's business and his weak leg.
Right,
so that's kind of like double.
What I'm asking is if like somebody decides they're going to sign up, do you let them sign up and then you go in and place them, or you have already set a placement, or like how exactly are you doing it?
You can do that. You can wait till after. I always do it before because I don't want to go through the headache of getting them switched. So
how do you know when they're going to sign up? A lot of my people, and it could just be my flaky people, but a lot of people, you just don't know when they're going to do it. And it's like, oh crap, did I have this set up right? And then they end up somewhere else. And
yeah, I like to really, so I will always know my next coach is going here. And I don't care when they sign up, that's where my next coach is going. And it's because that's where I need to grow my team. Now, if you don't know that, you can switch them by emailing and changing that.
okay.
But I think it's just easier to have a game plan and make sure that you have it set up before, just because it's so much less stressful
Okay.
and it's so much less work. And when your team gets so big, you don't have time for that kind of stuff.
Well, I wouldn't understand at this point, but yeah.
Oh, Megan, you will, girl. I've seen you. You're growing like a crazy woman. So
Oh my gosh.
give it a few months and you're going to be like,
Kelly.
no, you're doing awesome.
But yeah, I mean, for right now, I think it was Veronica that said something. I just bounce back and forth between right and left for where I need my cushion because I'm still building cushion. And then I'll occasionally go into my husband, and if I am concerned about somebody going inactive, I'm like, okay, we need to make sure this one goes here. But for right now, it's just left and right.
And you're
So
doing outside legs, right?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You're doing like the outside legs. So you're going like right outside.
I assume so this is getting to where I get confused. So you have had me sitting over here like, huh? Half of this conversation.
Okay, so let me show you how you can make sure you're doing it right. So if you go to your preferred placement,
Okay.
when you come over here to position, you can see mine is on the left. That means the left outside leg under this person. That's just because I clicked on it, so it shows theirs. If you want it to be your left outside leg, you just erase all of this, delete it, and it will be your own business center's outside left leg. If you do like weak leg first available, that's just going to be like so random. Don't even deal with that. You want to be very specific about where you're placing your coaches. And I never do first available. I don't even know, like, what's the first available? I don't even know what that means.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's too vague, and you don't have any control of your business when you do that. Right now, Beachbody gives us the chance to grow and build where we want to build. And that's amazing because we can choose where we want to put our coaches. Like, for example, there have been coaches that I knew were going to be amazing coaches. I could just tell they had a fire inside of them. They were ready to run. They had a huge why. And so I knew I wanted to put them in a place where they were going to benefit most. So I'll put them on like a strong leg where I know they're going to get a lot of volume, or I'm going to put them in a place where I know I'm building. So under my second business centers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you get to choose, and you're going to be really strategic about where you're placing your coaches.
I want to say something, and then Veronica has a question. So basically kind of what Megan was saying was like, right now, so Megan's, brand new diamond. She's trying to cushion. By cushion, she means adding a couple extra coaches on each leg, left and right, so that if someone drops off, she's not going to lose rank. So it's a tricky balance between maintaining rank, right? And then also building for volume. Because let's say Megan has a ton of volume on her left leg, but not so much on her right leg, then she's going to want to build on her right leg a lot, right? But then she maybe she needs a coach on her left to maintain rank. So it's always like, that's why you always want to be checking the back office. You always want to be checking your volume. You want to be checking your sponsorship drill downs, and just to see where you need coaches and where you need volume.
And that's also why I highly recommend you become very, very solid as a diamond before you even worry about this, because it's just not worth the stress of being like, I want to build on my weak leg, but I also need a coach on my right leg to hit diamond. You always want to go, get to diamond, be a solid diamond. That doesn't mean what's best for your business. And then start focusing on income if that's your goal. I actually honestly feel like 2-star is what's comfortable and where people should then start focusing on income. But I didn't do it that way because I needed to replace my income, and that was really big for us. So, I mean, it's up to you how you do it, but I just highly recommend. I've never lost my rank ever. Like, anytime I've ever hit a rank, I've never lost it. Never lost my diamond since the day I got it. Never lost my 1-star, never lost my 2-star, never lost my 3-star yet. And next week I'm going to be 5-star, and the week after that 6-star. And I never plan on losing my rank. Not saying that it's never going to happen, but that's my goal. That's something that I've always really strived to maintain. And it's mainly because, and this is what's awesome, you guys, when you're a 2-star, Beachbody gives, so Beachbody, what they do is they take the top 4% of their, I think it's gross income, I don't know what it's called, their net income, and they divvy it out among the 2-stars, the 5-stars, the 10-stars, and the 15-stars. Okay? So they take the top 2%. I lied, not 4%. The top 2% of their net income as a company. So you can imagine that's quite a hefty chunk of money, okay? And then they divvy it out. So the 2-stars, everyone in the 2-star pool gets a 0.25%. I suck at math. 0.5%. This is so embarrassing.
No,
0.5% of that 2%. The 5-star pool gets a 0.5%. The 10-star pool gets a 0.5%, and the 15-star gets a 0.5%. If you think about that, 15 stars, there's not as many of them, right? That's like the highest rank you could ever achieve. So their bonus pool is pretty huge. I think it's like $10,000 or something a quarter. Yeah. A quarter. That's $40,000 a year.
Yeah, that could replace your income right there.
Right there.
Some of us, right?
That's double my teaching income pretty much when I first started as a coach. Okay. 2-stars. My last quarterly bonus, I know they're kind of different. Kelly and ours were a little bit different, but they're around $700 to $800 a quarter. Freaking free money. Yeah. Heck yeah, I'm taking that. Okay. 5-stars, it's around $3,000. a quarter. And not only when you're a 5-star or a 10-star or 15-star, they all stack. So if you're a 15-star, you get the 15-star bonus, you get the 10-star bonus, you get the 5-star bonus, and you get the 2-star bonus. My mind is blown right now. That to me, like, that's crazy.
Wait, you get them all?
You get them all.
You get them all.
So like when I hit 5-star, or if someone were to hit 10-star, they'd get the 10-star pool bonus. So that'd be like, I don't know what it is, like $7,000 or something.
Then each one down.
They'd get the 5-star and they'd get the 2-star.
Yeah.
Every quarter. So, hello, yeah, rank is a big deal and it does make a huge difference. If you're not a 2-star, get to 2-star, because not only are you building your volume, you're also going to get those extra bonuses every single quarter. Every 3 months, they just deposit it right into your account. No questions asked. You're in the 2-star pool. You get $800.
Yeah. Jody just got hers.
Yeah, Jody, is that not freaking awesome? Were you like,
That was our first one.
Yay.
yeah, that's so cool.
Pretty awesome.
So I have a question
Okay,
that
so
might have been answered already, but when a coach quits, that's your personally sponsored coach, and they have a coach underneath them or two, do they become your personally sponsored coach? Like you would know?
yeah, that's why I got Stacy, and she's freaking awesome. She's like my BFF now, but seriously.
That's why I got Lisa.
Yeah.
Dance Lisa.
If a coach cancels their coaching account, their coach, whatever you call it, you get all of their people, you get all of their customers, just like Shakeology customers, whatever, free customers, all that good stuff. That all rolls up to you.
Yeah, I remember one time Amy Silverman saying, "You guys, if you just stick with this business," she's like, you know, if you're like, just have that tenacity, right? And you stick with this business, there's like, I get so many coaches from other people that quit.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so awesome.
So awesome. Yeah, it is so awesome. And I think also Stacy can talk about this a little bit, but when you're killing it as a coach, you also can get free coaches. People who just like go to the website and sign up to be a coach randomly. Stacy got a rock star coach who is like killing it right now. She's on fire, and she was a free coach.
So random.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple.
So, lots of bonuses for just doing the basics, you know, and that's like what I want to make sure we get. Like a lot of this volume stuff, it's like way, way, way deep into the weeds. It's good to know and have in the back of your mind because it's important for your goals and your family goals. And if that's big time for your family, then you want to make sure you're being very intentional with where you're placing coaches. But you got to be doing the 4 vital behaviors first. You're not going to go and focus on building for income if you're not posting every single day on social media, if you're not reading personal development, if you're not focused on helping your team and shouting them out and building a community. You guys have such an amazing leader. I look at Kelly and the community she's built, and I'm like trying to do what she's doing because it's so fun. And I see you guys cheering each other on and becoming BFFs with one another. And that's like what it's all about. Beyond the money, beyond the rank, beyond all that fluff, like what matters are the relationships you guys build and how it affects your life. And honestly, I would do it without all the money, without all that stuff, just because of the people it brings into your lives. And you guys have an awesome team. You're really lucky.
We do have an awesome team. And thank you so much, Melissa. I think this is a perfect ending point. I know Veronica had a quick question.
Okay.
So we'll just do maybe like 5 minutes left worth of questions and then wrap it up. So Veronica's question was, how did you find that placement ID to use?
So I just went through the graphical genealogy and found the person I wanted to place under and just clicked on the empty space. But someone else, I don't remember who it was, mentioned if you know your coach's ID or the coach's ID of who you want to place them under, you can just put that in the place in that optional coach ID placement, and then which leg you want it on, and it will place them right there. I like to see it. If you trust that it's going to work, that works too. But I just used the graphical genealogy, found exactly where I wanted to place them, clicked on it, saved it, and then that's will pull up the coach ID right there. Yes, you may, Veronica.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so in regards to that, it looks like Beachbody's website just automatically had my coach ID there. So that I was like, yeah, okay. So my other question.
That's generally what it always is. It's always yours, generally.
So if I go and change it to someone else, then I'll need to make sure before someone else signs up, I go and put in the number again that I want.
Yeah, or just if it's your number, you can just clear it out and it will automatically place them under you.
Okay.
If you have a specific placement, you can use the number too.
So I do have another question. Sorry.
You're okay.
Have you ever, Melissa, worked with, I know you said Micah is the girl, your coach above you, and you've talked with her and she kind of gave you some advice. Have you ever talked to like the sales people that are on corporate Beachbody, like for advice or?
Yeah. So actually at a meeting, I was telling Kelly, I had a meeting with Brittany Adamson today. She's kind of the corporate person that I talk to and work with. She's over the 5 stars and then also the 6 to 7 stars. And I'm like really close to qualifying. So I've been working with her for like the past month. And we talk about strategy. We talk about all these things. And that's like a lot of where I've learned this stuff. And we talk about, you know, what my goals are. And she helps me build for that and strategically place and talk about my up and coming coaches that I want to help to, you know, grow and build. And of course, those are coaches that I've talked to personally. I know what their goals are. I'm not just going to pick someone and be like, you can do good. I'm going to help you. It's people who have told me, I want this. This is what my dream is. This is what my vision is. And so I'm working with them one-on-one very closely and helping them get to that point.
Okay. Because I'm kind of at a spot where I just want to make, I don't know how everybody else is. I just want to do it and have a big monthly income, or it's really just not worth my time. I just don't have that much time in I just don't have much time. So I want to make sure I get it all set up that it can be like totally worth my time. And so I didn't know how you felt about working with the people at corporate, if you felt like that they might not be able to give you advice because I don't know. I just
definitely know. I would say, so how long have you been a coach? I don't even know.
Just like 3 months.
Okay. Let me just say this. You've got to be in it. You're not going to make $2,000 a week or even $1,000 a week being in the business even 6 months. And I'll get really transparent with you guys. I'll show you my income in the beginning. This is scary. Is this okay? This is legal.
Go for it. Everyone loves this.
Well, I think this is the stuff that we all need to know to move forward, because we're just like in la la land of what anybody's actually doing and making.
Yeah. So this is scary because I'm just trying to say I'm not a perfect coach. I'm a regular mom. I've been through my ebbs and flows. There have been times when I wanted to quit. Like, for example, at the year mark, I literally was like this close to quitting. And can I just tell you how freaking glad I'm Okay, so when I first started, didn't make anything my first week. I think I sold a challenge
commission. By the way. Just so you guys know, this is her weekly commissions in the back office. You go to my weekly commissions or whatever.
Yeah, so you can click on, when you're in your weekly commissions, so you go to the business tab, then you find my commissions, and you click on my weekly commissions. You can click into the commissions and see exactly where you're making your money. So I like to look there because then I can see, is this from, so like, for example, I can look and see, okay, I sold something and then I also signed up a coach that week, which I bet I signed up my husband, made $60 off of him. And then I also sold like a challenge pack or Shakeology or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's important. I think it's smart to always like look at this and see how much you made and see where it came from.
Yep, exactly. So I always utilize my commissions, and I just know that these don't get paid out till the next week. So that's how I look at it. Okay. So you can see in the beginning, I was making, you know, there were times when I made $100. There were times when I made $80. There were people like Micah was probably making $600 or $700 a week. I definitely wasn't. And it was very inconsistent for me because I was just doing it part-time. I had an awesome February. This week right here was when 21 Day Fix came out. Right there. Or maybe it was this one. I can't remember.
What do you, Melissa, what do you consider part-time? I just want them to have a real picture of.
So for me, I worked full-time as a teacher. So part-time for me was like between 1 to 3 hours a day.
Okay.
And I'm being very literal. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I would like listen to team calls and then I'd like post on Facebook. I did not know what I was doing. So I want to just say, if I can do this, anyone can do this. Because I was so clueless. I had no idea how to run a business. I didn't even know when I signed up that I was building, like making my own business. I was just so naive. So if you already know that stuff, you're like way ahead of the game. Because I did not.
Yeah,
okay.
I was BSing a lot at the beginning too.
Yeah, yeah. You just learn as you go. Like that's honestly what you do. So you can see like there were weeks that all of my big weeks here though, these were all commission based. I had like no one on my team. I think I was an emerald. That's it. I became an emerald my first month of coaching. I got there as quick as I could. And then I sat there for a long time. And I don't even think I became a diamond coach until like 6 or 7 months into the business. Micah probably wanted to kill me, but
how soon did you sign up your husband as an emerald?
I got him to emerald like ASAP. So I don't really remember, but probably my second month.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that really helps. I just feel like I said before, once it gives you 2 places to earn team bonus cycles.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so this is only my business center. And then Jeff's, I was making like half of these, you know, it just depended on the week. A lot of his, like his first 2 months were like zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So, but anyway, yeah. So you can see like these were all commission just from retail. So like things I was selling. I was just working really hard and I was selling the crap out of stuff and I didn't understand the team cycle bonuses at all. And then as soon as I started, it was like close to my 1 year mark, I started to realize I needed to build my team. And that's where, so like if we click on this, you can see I started building my team and I started making team cycle bonuses. And that's like crazy. Look, I made as much on my team bonus more than I did on retail, and I didn't have to do anything.
That's the beauty.
Cycle bonus is where it's at.
Seriously.
And it just kept growing. And I hit that year mark, and I remember thinking, this is where, this is so embarrassing. I was making $900 a week. I was barely working the business. And I told my husband, I remember I was like, I think I'm going to quit. I suck at this. I'm like, my team's not growing. I can't find coaches. I'm not very good. Micah hates me. I was a total negative Nancy. And Jeff, he said to me, he's like, well, if you're not doing anything, you're making this kind of money, why would you quit? And I was like, yeah, it's true. I'll just like support my coaches and just do what I can. Well, then I made my first $1,000 week and Micah shouted me out. And this was a big deal for me. This was a big deal for our family. This was a time in our lives when we really needed the money. And I was like, free, I can make $1,000 a week. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna start helping my team. I'm gonna start helping the girls on my team grow their team. And you can see after that, my income just kept growing. And it was like after that 1 year mark, it was all of a sudden like super consistently growing. And that motivated me so much. And then by around Summit, of last year, which I was about a year and a half into the business, I was consistently making over $1,000 a week. And then it kept growing and growing. And I was like, what the heck? This is just such an amazing business model because there's so much potential. And just so you guys know, I never show these numbers to anyone. Like, this is really scary for me. I'm like sweating right now. But these numbers meant a lot more to me than just money. This meant I could take my family on vacations. In June of last year, we took our kids on a vacation that we paid for ourselves. Like, my parents didn't pay for it. And that was a really big deal. Oh, there's a fly, sorry. That was a really big deal for us because before we could only afford to go where it was like really cheap or free for us to travel to, like camping in Bear Lake or something, or staying at our family's cabins or whatever. But we were able to take our kids on an actual vacation and make memories with them and do things that we've always wanted to do. For me, money isn't about buying things. Money is about making memories. It helps us to do things with our family that bring us closer together. And that's the only, I just don't want to even have to stress or worry about what that money or where it's coming from. Anyway, it just means a lot more. Like, I don't want to buy stuff with it. I just want to do things with my kids. So, and I also want to say, when you get to this point where you're making, between $500 to $1,000, if you don't already have a business entity, you got to make one, because otherwise you're going to get freaking killed on taxes like we did. So just an entirely new story.
Like an LLC or something like that. That's what she means. That's a whole nother call.
That's a whole other call. Okay. Veronica, I would never hate you.
I think it's awesome.
You're going to say $1,000 a week soon.
Okay. Can I ask my second question?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I just think you're awesome. I love that you're showing this, because I seriously have been needing this. I think it helps motivate everybody, and it shows that you're being real. And I don't think you should be nervous about it, because it just helps us, people like me that are like $30 a week minus $15. I'm like, wait, why do I have a minus? I
had those too. I know.
It helps us not want to give up. But I do think that you should do another call, maybe later, explaining to us how you set up the LLC, or just kind of what business decisions you made.
Honestly, Kelly is probably way better at that than me.
But my question is about taxes. And so, anyways, I just didn't know when you get paid, and maybe that's a whole other call. And maybe you need to talk to an accountant or something. But if you have all this money going into a specific checking account, just every week, is there a certain amount that you set aside, a certain percentage that you set aside, and that's your taxes? So when you file your taxes, you're not going to owe all this money? Or how do you kind of use your money? And for me, I haven't even spent any of my money, because I know I haven't set any aside for taxes. So right now, this is almost just a game to me. I'm not really the money.
So my first year, we literally made nothing in our other jobs. I was a teacher. I'll be really frank with you, I made $28,000 a year as a teacher. And I didn't get paid for maternity. So when I had my kids, I had my son my first year, I also lost $4,000 because I took 10 weeks off. So anyway, this is just me, I've heard a recommended amount of 30% of your income you should set aside. I always put 50% away, just because I also want to save for our future. And that way, if I put 50% into our savings, I know I'm not touching it no matter what. Totally up to you. That's just what I feel comfortable with. My husband thinks I'm crazy. He thinks I overreact and save, put way too much aside. But I'll tell you what, I'm really glad I did last year, because we got friggin' hit hard on our taxes, and we used pretty much all of it. So I'm really glad I saved that much. My first year, we still got a refund. My first year of Beachbody coaching. My second year, we owed a lot. So If that helps.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Can I ask a question really fast?
Yes, Stephanie, of course.
Awesome. Sorry, I don't have time on my phone, but I was wondering, what's your strategy when people sign up? Do you sign them up as discount coaches, just on the spot, and don't give them an option, or do you sign them up as customers, or what? Are you on that?
I do exactly what Kelly does. I got the idea from her. This girl's a genius. That's what I mean. You got an awesome leader. I give them the option to sign up as a coach or a discount coach or as a challenger. So kind of it's the exact same script she's given you guys. So it's like, you can either become, you can save this much money a month by being a discount coach. And then I also throw in there, if you've ever thought about coaching, let's talk. You don't have to do it right away, but I'd be happy to share more about it with you. And then, of course, they can sign up with a challenge pack too. It's genius. And that's like how you've gotten a diamond, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
So I think it's an awesome way to build momentum. And then when you share, you just got to share all about your Beachbody journey on your social media and just talk about how much it's blessed your life and how you're a diamond coach. And when people see that you are having success, they're going to want to do it with you. And, I think every single woman could say that if they could do something that makes them feel fulfilled and confident and happy and like they're contributing to their family without having to leave the home, without having to do anything super crazy, I think they would do it. And when they see that anyone can do it, even someone who's working full-time or who's a full-time mom or whoever, it just makes them that much more motivated to jump on board with you. Okay, I know we're like 15 minutes over your guys' call, so sorry.
Can I ask one more question? Oh,
yeah.
Kelly, you're muted, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so last question, Veronica.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Have you done this, Melissa, or do you know of any other coaches who have done this? Do any coaches ever hire other people to do stuff for them? Like, for me, that's how I think. I'm like, I wish I could just hire someone to honestly host my challenge group every month. Or, I know that sounds so lame, but I'm like, seriously, like, I'm like brainstorming who I'm going to ask because I'm like, she would be so perfect. But I'm like, or delegate out and hire people to like, if people are like, oh, I want to be in your challenge group, or I love what you're posting, then I can say, oh, my partner totally handles that. And then, have you heard of any coach doing that? Or are they mainly just the face of their business and that's them and they're...
Yeah, so I've heard of people delegating things. I've never heard of anyone delegating their challenge groups, but I'm sure it's possible.
I'm like, seriously, like, been thinking about that all week. I'm like, if that's all I did.
The thing is that a lot of people will delegate. They'll delegate their posts on social media, their, whether when they're shouting out their team and they're putting together cute graphics and things that don't require them to be present, right? Things that they don't have to be showing their face for. I think every coach should be involved in their challengers' lives. Like, that's why they're coming to you, because they want you. So I think you should be the one who's talking to them and reaching out to them and caring about them and helping them and being there for them. Do you have to always, do all the dirty work and the spreadsheets and the shout out boards and all that kind of stuff? Like, even your social media stuff, like, have someone else post for you. Shalene Johnson talks about this all the time. So you should definitely look into some of her stuff, because she talks about like what to delegate and what not to. But I think for things that require you to be you need to do yourself. And then all the stuff that happens behind the scenes that kind of sucks to do, delegate it. And if I've never done that, I haven't done it yet, but that doesn't mean I haven't thought about it. Like, I definitely want to. I just don't even know where to start. So.
Okay. I was just curious because
you sound like you're really like business minded. That's like my biggest weakness ever.
Well, my thing is, like, my husband and I own a business and we never go into work. And so what we've done is made everything so automated that we have employees do everything else. And so I'm like, I've got to set this up to be the same somehow or similar. But a lot of it is actually personal connections to me is why people are signing up, people that are like me. So I'm like, how can I keep that but not like be so overwhelmed because of lack of time, you know? So
yeah, definitely.
Veronica, I recently hired an assistant and it's freaking amazing. And I have like this, like today I was on the phone with her because I was taking my daughter school shopping, but I was on the phone while we're driving and I was telling her to just schedule out my prep week posts. So, you know, with using Postcrone, which by the way, you need to use if you haven't, but stuff like that. So I just have little things that I have her do here and there, like the Success Club board that I'm going to post tomorrow. She does that stuff, like, you know, that's really time consuming for me. But so she helps me with that and just little things here and there. But so yeah, and I only pay her $40 a week and she's just one of my good friends and it's awesome. So that was, and I just recently hired her, but that was definitely something I wanted to work towards because I'm all about delegation and, you know, I've got 4 kids and life's crazy too. So I think it's definitely something you could work towards and do. All right. So thanks.
I hope that helped at all.
Oh my gosh, duh. It was amazing. It was so good. Seriously. And got us so pumped. And thanks for being so transparent with like all these numbers and, you know, just where you started and where you're at now. It's so helpful for us to see. I think you've given a lot of these coaches a little glimmer of hope. So I really appreciate you doing this, Melissa, and just for being you. And so thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Have a good night. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.